What a lovely day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Could you be mine? I don't know. That could be. Good morning, everybody. So, as you can see, we've taken our 16 by 20-inch black canvas and just blasted it with sap green. I make this gorgeous green color. It's all over our brush. Now, let's go through all the colors that we're going to use today. We'll probably use the sap green, a little bit of our yellow, and probably our crimson and black, maybe a little bit of the blue, and our white, of course, right? So, again, I've taken our sap green, covered our canvas over here. Let's take a little of the phthalo green as well, just a little bit, right? I like to come up here, especially when we have this new easel. I'm always nervous, right? Let's take a little bit of phthalo green and we'll come and just put it in a little different area. And that way we'll have a few different colors in here. Maybe our blue too. Why not? We'll have all sorts of stuff. So, you guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich, right? I love knowing what you guys like to eat. What's your favorite pizza? Your favorite sushi, right? What's your favorite food? Give me write in the comments. Tell me what you got or what you plan on having for lunch or dinner. What are you eating right now? What do you have for breakfast? Let me know. I want to know. I love knowing. So, let's come in here. We're going to get a little bit more of our blue. You guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. We love figuring it out. You never know. Maybe somebody's going to be watching right down the street from where you are. It could happen. It could happen. A little of our phthalo green down in here. And then maybe a little more Prussian blue right down along the bottom. I like to show you guys, especially on these weekend shows, a lot of people don't know how to prep the canvas or how to prime it with the undercolors, right? And so I like to show you how we get going, right? Some of the times we start and it's already finished and we're already ready to go and just blast off and take off and run. And then a lot of the people go, well, how did you get this? How did it start? How did you get the colors on to do that? So I like to show that in some of the weekend videos, our longer tutorial videos and stuff. And just like that, we're gonna have all this blue and green everywhere. Look at that. Ah, it's gonna be fantastic. Gonna be fantastic. A little bit more blue. I have this really cool idea to do like an eclipse, like a green eclipse. Greenish, bluish. So maybe we'll have like the blue around and then it'll be a little green on one side. It'll be different, right? It'll be very cool. It's all gonna mix in and become all these different colors and it's gonna keep our canvas very dark. It's gonna look dark, right? I mean, to you guys, it might look a little bit bright because we have all the super bright lights in here, right? But to me, when you're looking at it, it's still a very dark color. And wherever you want more darkness, just go back and add a little bit of blue. Right, and then maybe we'll have like a waterfall, maybe we'll have a mountain, maybe we'll have some trees, maybe I don't even know what we're gonna have. We're gonna figure it out as we go. Maybe we'll do a seascape. We've been doing a lot of seascapes on Saturday, and you wanna know the reason? Because all throughout the week, I paint all these crazy scenes, or we do these mountains, or we do these crazy aurora things, and then it gets to the weekend, and I go, man, I haven't painted a seascape in a while. And then when I look back through all my videos, I go, man, we've been painting seascapes like every weekend. So, I don't know, maybe we'll bring Sunday seascapes back. And then we'll take a break on Saturday and we'll come back on Sunday. What does everybody think about that? There we go. It's like my only day, I get one day to sleep in and it's Sunday because I do the show on Saturday. And we're up late on Friday night, my goodness. All right, look at all these gorgeous little things. So let's come back. I'm gonna figure out where you guys are watching from, what your favorite food is. And you guys are gonna hit the screen, tap the live, share the thing, do all the stuff you gotta do. Send me over to your grandma. And we're also, wherever you guys are watching, we got California here, Wisconsin, Ohio. I'm liking the green. Thank you, thank you. It's going to be awesome. We're going to light it up with some white. It's going to be fantastic. British Columbia. Man, we got people watching from everywhere, right? Just everywhere. There we go. Now, we're going to wash off all this paint off of this dirty brush. And the way that we do that, I'm going to show you one time right here. We're going to dip it into our thinner, our odorless mineral spirits, right? But the level is only down here. It's not all the way to the top. I'm not dunking the entire brush. Just the tip of the bristles, and then we shake it in that kind of empty space where the level of the liquid is and where the top of the cup is. Then we throw it into a can, shake it off, and then into the old beater bucket. Right? It's just a golf ball basket with a bucket with a golf ball basket down around the bottom of it, right? And that just gives you a couple little surfaces to crisscross and beat the devil out of the brush. Now, we're always going to dab it off on a paper towel, especially when you're working on a black canvas. You got to dab it off on a paper towel. And did you guys see my cool Steve Ross shirt that Bram sent me? It's wicked. Yeah, love it. It's a little big, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll paint in it, right? It'll be cool. So, let's grab our fan brush. We'll get some white paint, and we're going to just light up all of these gorgeous colors that we just laid down It's literally the most fantastic thing you'll ever see. So here we go. We're gonna have to grab our cake pan too, make our aurora, or our moon, right? Let's get rid of some of this crimson. I don't want any crimson in my scene. This is from last night's painting, right? Get rid of all of that. So we have some nice fresh white that we can use. And here we go. Let's load it up. Load it up. Right up into here, just on the tip of the bristle, so I don't have to get it everywhere. Don't have to get it everywhere. Look at that. All nastily up on there. Now we're going to grab our custom cake pan. I call it custom only because I stuck my stickers to it, right? Our Paint with Josh stickers. There's all the stickers we've ever had. The first one, the longer little banner ones, and then the big one with the red. Oh, you know what? We need to put the new one with the white writing on it too. So now wherever we laid our undercolors, remember that's where the color's going to come. So maybe let's take our pan and we'll put it out right up here, just right in the middle, right? Just right in the middle. We're going to lightly hold it against the canvas and take a very thin amount of paint and go around it very evenly, right? If you push too hard in one place, it's going to be fatter in that one place, right? And then we're going to hold the pan. Actually, you know what? Let's do this, because the last time I had to pull it away. All right, what we're going to do, we have that. No, we can do it with the brush. Okay, we'll pull it up here. Take our custom cake pan, right in the center, just like that. Holding it, and then we're going to go very lightly around the edge. Very lightly, trying to make, oh, look at those colors. Trying to make a gorgeous little circle, the same thickness all the way around. We do it with our moon. We do the same technique, right? But the best part about this is if you ever struggle with the moon and you're like, oh, I can't make the circle perfect. Best part about this one, we don't want the circle to be perfect. Now we're going to take it and just start throwing it off, just like a clock though. Small little flicks. Just every minute of the clock, we're going to go down. We're going to flick. And then every so often, let's turn the brush vertical so we make a longer little swipe out like that, right? A couple little bits. Maybe it came down a little bit longer on this side. We're going to continue on holding the pen, not trying to pull it out the same. Every so often, pull it out a little bit longer. Move our hand down. Come around here. Pulling it out at the minute. Every minute of the clock, it's got to come out, right? Shooting out crazily. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, we're going to get up to the top. We're not going to pull it too far. You don't want the streaks to be too long. That's for sure. All right, now you guys ready for the coolest little reveal? Just a cool little reveal that we got going on. You ready? 1, 2. Wait, did everyone say they were ready? I'm just kidding. Ready? Wow, look at that awesome, awesome aurora. My goodness. Just fantastic, right? Woo! Look at that thing. Now we can take it, come grab it up at the corner, and just pull it in different directions, just like the clock. A little bit longer in some areas, a little bit shorter in other areas, but every minute of the clock's got to go outwards, right? And then we'll take our brush, our other brush, and we'll sort of flatten it. You're going to have these cool little streaks where the light just shoots out a little bit more than everywhere else. Really neat. Really neat. And we didn't add any extra paint to the brush. Look at it. All the paint got onto the brush. Took away most of our white. Fantastic. Just fantastic. Now I'm going to take a 1-inch brush, just like this, right? Fantastic little 1-inch brush. We're going to very softly, you know what we can actually do is put our cake pan back up there. And that way we can't go inside the circle, right? If we have it up there, we can't go in the circle. So let's take our bit like that, put it right back up in there. Exactly how we had it before. Boom, now we're just gonna very lightly soften these guys, just pulling off in the same little minute strokes, right? Every which way was a minute, or a little multi-second, a millisecond. There we go. Very soft. Bam! So cool. Man, remember guys, this one's available for sale in my Etsy store. I sell them live during the show. It's a lot of fun. So if you're looking to buy a piece of art and you like this one, go over to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and you can, I just had a really cool idea. But you can get this painting and other paintings if you go over to the store, paintwithjosh.etsy.com. And we're going to have a lot of fun. It's fun when you buy it during the show, that people like it, and everybody gets to help name it, right? So you're going to be able to name this painting. So start coming up with a name. In case it gets purchased, maybe the person that buys it might choose the name that you had selected, right? Very cool. Oh, man. Just so stinking nice. I'm going to try to take a little bit of brightness and just dab it in around the edge. And that way it tries to stay right. Very light pressure, right? We're really working on our 3 Ps here. Paint, pressure, practice. Too much of either, and it's going to be really long, or it's not going to match up, not going to look right. It doesn't all have to look the same. Gorgeous. So let me see what you guys think of that. What do we got in the comments for this one, guys? Ooh, those are some good names. Kentucky. Let's see. If it was an orange, it would be an eclipse. Now, well, I did a blue one the other day, and I've done a purple one, and now we've done a green and blue and teal one all together. So I don't paint realism around here. We do expressionism landscapes, and we like to have a lot of fun. And I think having a lot of colors is a lot of fun versus just trying to do it, you know, normal, or however that would be if it was orange or whatever, right? Totally up to us what we decide to do. I just had this awesome idea. What if we did a scene inside the thing? We could do like a little mini seascape. I'd have to get my little mini brushes out, but we could do it. We could totally put a scene inside there, right? Like a soft little seascape, add some clouds, maybe a faraway moon, like it's a portal to another. That's it, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Right? If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't sell, at least we had some fun today. At least we had some fun. Now remember, if you don't have any undercolor underneath, it's going to be very difficult to blend away any bit of white. You got to have every piece back there be in some color. Now, let's just go crazy. And maybe, like I said, I've never done this before. I literally had this idea just now. Maybe in here, right across the center. I'm going to hold my yardstick, right, my little maul stick, just so lightly. That's it, it's in there now. And I don't want to go all the way to the edge, right? We want to have it be kind of like a vignette. All the way. That way it'll get lighter or darker, right? Get this little bit of light back in here. Oh my God, it's going to be so cool. Little bits of paint, and we're just going to do a little mini seascape way back in here. And we'll see what it looks like, right? Should be cool. In my mind anyway, it's going to be cool. So we're going to come over here, we're going to flatten it off just like we do with our seascapes all the time, right? Flatten it out. Maybe we'll just throw some stars or something down here and our scene will be inside. If I knew I was going to do that, I would have started it down in the center of the canvas versus the top. That's freaking cool. Well, that just shows you we literally make it up as we go. Literally make it up. Right? A little bit more white. Might have to stand in front of a couple of you guys just to see, right? There's going to be our horizon, our little bit of water. Going to go over here. Thinner on one side, thicker on the other, just like we always do with our seascapes, right? Just in a smaller version. And I'm trying not to finish it to the edge of the eclipse. We're just going to have this far off thing back there. You know what would look cool too? What if we use one of our little teeny tiny, where are those little brushes at? Where are those brushes at? Oh, by the way, I use this, if Bram's watching, I use this paint squeezer tube thing that Bram sent me, and man, it's like, it squeezed out every single piece of everything in there. All right, look, since we're going to do this little mini scene, Jessie Lynn's Art, among other people, have sent us this kit, and they're little filbert brushes. You get a ton of them in this kit. And that's the name on them anyway. I don't even know how to say it, so I'm not going to try. But Bomahia, something like that. Little tiny filbert brushes, right? And the smaller your filbert brush, the smaller your moon is going to be. So let's grab a little bit, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to load it onto one side. We're going to come up here, and maybe our moon off in our scene inside of our eclipse is right there. So we're just going to push, we're going to rotate, and we're going to spin, and we're going to spin. And this is the fun part about painting, guys. You can literally do anything you want to do out here on your canvas, right? It's your world. You decide what you want it to look like, right? That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Our moon got a little funky. Got a little funky, but it's okay. We can either blend it, or we can push a little bit harder with our brush and make it bigger, right? Or we can streak across it. We can make it we can throw a cloud in front of it. We can do all sorts of stuff. Right? All up to us. I'm gonna push in, I'm gonna rotate the bristles, trying to make them flatten out. There we go. You can always go back and fix it. Don't worry, right? Very cool. Now, what if we threw a little teeny tiny clouds out there off in our scene, right? If we were out here, and again, we don't want them to blend to the edges, so I'm not gonna use too much paint, because I don't want it to go all the way to the sides, right? All about paint pressure practice here. We're doing like a scene inside of a scene inside of a scene. It's like a taco within a taco, inside of a Taco Bell that's also inside a KFC, inside the mall. See that? Dang, very soft. Don't want to let them go all the way to the sides. Very cool. Very cool. Maybe we'll put one more little cloud in there too. Just a little bit, because you know how I like the depth in my clouds. You got to have a cloud on top of a cloud. Right, down into the dark area. We go from bright down to where it gets darkest in that cloud. Then you pop in a new little section of brightness. Very cool. All the way out. Not letting it get to the sides, right? Not doing that. Same brush, little 1-inch brush, which is very big inside of an 8. If your scene is only 8 inches wide and you have a 1-inch brush, that's very big. Right, so we're just going to very lightly. Very cool, just like that. Starting to build our scene within our scene, guys. It's almost like a what's that dang movie with the Doctor Strange. Almost like a Doctor Strange type thing. So we're going to come over here, and we got to decide what our little wave is going to look like. If we're going to do a wave or a scene inside of a scene, and it's going to be a little small little thing, we're going to have to have a little small little bit of paint. So we have to decide. I might have to get up here with my maul stick just to stay, you know, sturdy. Maybe we had our little wave come in like this. Little mustache, right? Gotta have that mustache. So it goes up and then it comes down. Maybe we'll zoom in. Should we zoom in, guys? You guys can't see a whole lot of this maybe from back there. All the details and stuff. Let's zoom in just a little bit. All right, since we're doing, again, a scene within a scene, everybody should be able to see it. Let's see. We have to come up on YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. At least we'll be able to see. And I think Facebook, you guys should be good. Okay, now, we're going to come up. We made our little mustache. We come up and then down, right? Little teeny tiny things. Little small amounts of paint. And that's our wave off in the background. Goes down here, and then we slide it off. Very small little flicks shooting off the side, right? We don't need anything. You just need a little bit of brightness and a little bit of that darker color. Very softly swiping it, just to soften it. Don't want it to grow. We don't have a lot of space, right? It's trying to get close to the edge of the scene. Now we got to leave this area underneath there a little dark. And we're going to come in, we're going to wipe off the old brush. Come in here, get some new paint, a little bit of white. All we're using is white. Just come back and fill it up. All right, so maybe we had our scene come out like this. And then there's our wave right here. It starts to roll over. Let's see if we can do it. Very small little flicks. Right, there we go. Right, there we go. Now we're going to roll over this way. Hang on. There we go. Roll up that way, off to the side. It's so hard to do it small, right? People always say, oh, the canvas is so big, I'm too afraid to do it on that big of a canvas, I gotta start small. I would start big, because the smaller the canvas, the harder it is to make these little details and things with your little flicks. And when you have a bigger canvas, it's a bit easier, and you get a little bit more forgiveness. You know what I mean? There's more forgiveness on a big canvas, and that way, all your gorgeous, happy little accidents can grow into something beautiful, right? Man, that's cool. So we're going to tap into our wave, trying to maintain our darkness. And come down there. Just like that, right? Take this guy, start flicking him back, but we're going to leave that little dark line, right? Our dark separator, same like we always do. Just like that, guys. It's starting to come together. Oh, man, that's cool. A little mini scene within a scene. And fill it in, sliding it back to our dark separator. Remember, you can buy this painting if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. I think it's like $210 or something like that. I didn't know what it was going to look like, so I didn't make it, you know, I didn't know. We just adjust as we go. And this one's turning out to be pretty cool. Pretty cool little scene. Little seascape inside of an eclipse. Like Doctor Strange, sort of. Very cool, right? Gonna have our little bits. I got no paint on the brush. I'm just dragging down any bit of white that I can to make our wave kind of get darker and darker and darker as it goes down, right? No paint on the brush, just cleaned it. Now we're gonna come back. We need to put a little paint, I'm talking about a little bit, because our eye can't get too big. That's our eye right there. Why don't we just blend it out with this little brush right here? Go like that. The eye, remember, you got to keep darkness in your wave, so your eye can't catch every single piece of light. A little bit more white just to make it a bit brighter. And now we got that sap green. I can tell the difference. You got sap green underneath there. The more we mix it, so we're leaving that little dark separation though. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Even as small as our painting is, still gotta have it. Letting the light go out to the side. Very cool. Kind of going back. And then we can start to shape what the wave's gonna look like. That's gonna be neat. All right, now let's get another brush. Same size little brush. These little GAC Doctor brushes, they're awesome. This is a size 6. They come from like a size 2 to a size 14. You get 7 in a pack for $10. And I've never found a better deal. Never found a better deal than 7 brushes for $10. And they're awesome brushes. They're good quality. You'd think they'd be crap for $7 and 10 of them, right? But they're actually really good. So let's come over here. We're going to mix up our dark color. I don't want to blast you guys because I know everybody's zoomed in and up real close. So we're going to mix up that dark color, our blue, our crimson, and our black right in here. Now we're going to make the splashy foam of our wave. And maybe the sand comes out and falls down out of the... Oh, guys, I've got so many ideas. Okay, see that dark line that's in there? That's our dark separator. So we're going to connect to that and then continue along around and then down the edge, flowing down. That way we put that darkness right in here. So when we come in with our splashy, foamy bit of water, right, and our white, and we mix it up into a cloud, we'll have that dark shadow to mix with. Oh, guys, so stinking cool. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Right, continues along. That way you have that bit of dark that separates any bit of color from any other bit of color. Now, we'll come back with our other little baby brush, grab a teeny little bit of liquid white, and we'll come in here, just like this, mixing it up. This is way cool. I want to do this on a much bigger scene. I'm going to need to find a bigger circle. I need like a trash can lid, and then we could do it on a massive canvas, you know what I mean? All right, now we've got our liquid white, we've got our white. We need to come up here, touch onto the top of those shadows, right? We're not trying to cover all the shadow. We're trying to leave half the shadow underneath, half of the white on top into our next bit of color, right? It's got to cover over that. So we're going to come in with just the corner. We're going to start to slap, right? Pushing up at it. Pop, 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 pop. And it goes down like that, right? So it's coming over, take a little bit of that white, start rolling it over the edge of the other bit of water, right? And then as we go, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and it starts coming down. But we're not trying to cover over all of our bit of shadow that we laid down. You have to leave some of the darkness in there, right? Now, because it's such a small area, I might have to switch to a filbert brush to try to blend these guys out. So, come in here very softly, right? Very soft. You don't want to grab all of the liquid white. You want to leave some of it in there. That's our little spray and stuff, right? Very cool. Just so soft. Oh my goodness. Doesn't all have to look the same. You don't want it to look the same anyway. Bam, just like that. On a foamy mix, it's coming down, it's getting all crazy. And now here's my favorite part about what we've been doing with these seascapes. Literally, we're going to take a little bit of our liquid white, and man, you got to be careful, especially when we're not trying to go on the outside of this scene, right? Is that a brush hair right there? Guys, I can't have a brush hair in my, get out of there. There we go. In my eclipse, there we go. All right, it's just going to throw me off. Now, littlest bit of that liquid white, and we're going to come over here and we're just going to spray it by letting our brush kind of go, and the bristles bend back and then they flick forward, right? So you don't need a whole lot, especially on this little teeny tiny scene right there. Oh man, that's cool. It just adds this extra little bit of depth. Let's pull a little bit more down and just flick them in there. Woo! That is neat, you guys. So many little details for the buyer, right? Bang! Almost like those little splashies are going to come out. And you know what looks cool? If you can get the smallest bit right above the wave, too. Every so often, you get that little bit of water that splashes up. The wind's blowing out here in wherever realm we are, right? Way out here in the distance. Very cool. Very cool. Man, I love this little scene. All right, now we're going to come in. We're going to take our white, but no liquid white. Back to that thick titanium white. Got to have the thick stuff so it'll play nicely. If it's too wet, it's going to move too far, right? So we have our thick white. Now we're going to decide maybe our water came down and hit right here. We're going to start to slide back with our little bit of foam. Decide what we want our ocean scene to look like, right? Very cool. Now, you don't want to go straight up And I gotta get down here with this glare. We're gonna start coming out to the front. Just like that. Right? We decide what we want our little wave to look like, what we want the sand to be, how wet it is, this, that, and the other. Just like that. Now, the fun part comes right here. We're gonna start going back and sliding up, but you can't just straight up like a ramp. You gotta go back and then start doing our little flicks. Little flicks, and then the more and more and more we go to the side, the longer and longer they get, because they gotta come up and line up with our wave up here, which we're gonna grab, just like we had our little mustache. You're gonna go up and down. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go up and down. We're just changing the angle, right here. You come down to the thing, and down. Come up to the thing, and it fall down, right? Cool little bits. I'm gonna try to let it stay very dark over here. Very dark, very dark. And only because I didn't want to touch the edges of my eclipse, but now it looks like we might have to touch the edge. Oh yeah, if we just keep it right along the side and keep the smallest little line of darkness, maybe that is gonna look nice. So, sorry if my big head's in the way. I'm trying to make a painting that's worth selling and show you guys how to do it all at the same time. There we go. That's not bad right there for being on a rounded edge and being inside of an eclipse. That is pretty stinking neat, if you ask me. There we go. Just trying to blend it to the edge. I'm not trying to let the water come out too far. Right, down here, we're going to come around. Just like that. You guys, that is so cool. That is literally so cool. So stinking cool. Now we're going to come back a little bit more bright white, right? Is all we added. Now we can add a little bit of highlights where our moon might have hit. Brightened up our water just a little bit. Maybe out here. But back in here. Keep it dark. You want to keep those rotations small. Got to keep them small. And if you leave that shadow like that, right, then it looks like the wave is casting its own shadow deep onto itself, right? Those guys flow up like this. Take this guy, start to round him down. Just round him down, get these cool little bits. All that water in here, all that darkness, our little dark separator. Just allows the wave to look like it's rolling up and it's got that real deep dark shadow underneath. Kept it dark underneath here. Very cool, guys. And then you can adjust what you want your sand to look like, right? Your foam. You pull it out a little bit more if you want. Maybe it's out here. Maybe the whole thing's down like this, right? We decide what we want it to look like. Imagine that. And you don't stop until you're done. Very cool. Man, that's cool. All right, now what the heck are we going to do? Because we just did a whole scene inside of a scene. So now what the heck do we do? Do we finish it with like a little spacey planet? Do we put something else down here? Oh gosh, that's the coolest seascape I've ever done. And it's just the smallest little guy. Just an 8-inch round seascape. Looks like the water's gonna fly off the sides. So cool. I'm not even gonna do anything to the sand. I like exactly how dark it is like that. Actually, you know what? I lie. I fib. I'm a fibber. We're gonna come up in here. I'm just gonna pull down a little bit, staying a teeny tiny amount under. There we go. Now with the same brush, just trying to be soft, sliding it back, trying to keep our dark separator, right? There we go. Perfect. That's all you need. A little bit of coloration to show a little bit of wet sand underneath, but you got to keep that dark separation line. So slide your color all the way up, but don't let the colors touch. That's all you got to do. If you let the colors touch, you have failed. You got to keep your dark separation line in there. The dark separator. Man, that's cool. Okay. Let's see what you guys think since I've been up here for so long. Tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And man, that's a cool little scene right there, guys. Holy cow. Holy moly. What else are we going to do underneath it is the question. What are we going to do underneath it? And how are we going to fix our kind of funky little circle right here, right? We've come out a little bit too far, and I can't see it because of the glare. And we're going to come back in and just very slightly make that circle again. Right? We can even do it like this, guys. What am I doing? What am I doing, right? Let's come over here, come back in like this, and maybe we'll brighten it up just a little bit. Right? We can brighten it up in certain areas. I'm going to take my big old brush that we started with, going to load it up the same amount of paint that we started with. Right? The first P of Paint with Josh. I've been so into this little scene, we haven't even been talking about nothing. So I hope everyone's like, oh, talk less, paint more. I painted more, okay? I talked less. So, with the same amount of paint, because the paint is the first P of Paint with Josh, right? You got to have the right amount of paint on the brush. And so if we come back up and we cover over our little seascape, and we go around the edge, just very lightly. In some places, I only want it to be brighter in some spots. Right? Some places are already bright, some places need to be a bit brighter. And you get to decide that when you make your scene. What yours looks like, right? Bang. Just like that. And we got a fresh little circle around there. Still got all of our action. Still got all of our waves and our water. Didn't cover it all up, right? Now, let's take just a little bit and we'll try to flick it off. Different direction. Doesn't have to be the brightest thing you ever saw. Right? And they don't all have to look the same. If you want them to look a little bit sharper, just turn your brush on the corner. Just like that. And then we go up here. I'm trying to pull off in those same angles, just like we do with our auroras, right? You're matching it, you're trying to pull it off in different directions so it becomes a brighter thing. It becomes all the same. It's just like a clock. Imagine all these little bits like the minutes of a clock, and you have to pull in that direction. Otherwise, it's not going to look right. You're going to look at it and you're going to go, why doesn't this look right? Well, it's because all the angles are off, right? Just a couple little flicks here and there and everywhere. Man, that's cool. Right? Throw one out down here because we're going to put something down underneath anyway. Just a little bit of brightness coming down. Shoots out of there. Wicked cool. Wicked cool. Very lightly. Make this guy go as far as you want, really. You can push it until the aurora goes all the way around the canvas if you wanted to. You really could. And brighten it all out, but I don't want to do that. I want to leave some areas brighter, some areas darker, around the side. These gorgeous little things that happen. Comes out a little further in some places. All with that pressure though. Don't pull harder on one section and then not on the other sections because it's going to blend that white a little bit more than it would everywhere else. Right? Very cool. Awesome. Okay, you guys gotta tell me, what are we gonna put underneath? Should we put like a mountain scene? Should we do, I don't know. You guys gotta let me know. What the heck are we looking at here? You gotta let me know what's happening. Boston, got Todd coming in from Boston. Eclipse, let's see, underwater dolphins, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, looking at this mountain, do a boat. We got a desert scene. That would be cool to do a desert and have water over the desert, right? Like a little portal opened up. Mountains, ooh, everyone says mountains, mountains, mountains. Josh Ross, that's right, but crazy. Josh Ross, but crazy, right? Crazy old Josh. There we go. All right, let's do a mountain then. If everybody wants to see a cool mountain, let's put a mountain underneath this and a lot of like, I don't know, bright snowy stuff. We've already got the dark color all set up to make a mountain with. So, let's come and do it. You know what, actually, if we're gonna do a mountain, you gotta have something back here as a little bit of light. So let's take a few little soft little bits. Maybe we had like maybe we'll throw some clouds in here, right? So we'll take whatever's colors on the brush like that. Just come in, just have some soft little bit of clouds. Just by writing, just make it a mess in cursive, right? Just whatever. Go back, go forward. All we're doing is adding a little bit of paint and a little bit of color to the canvas so we can come back in with our brush and start to blend it down, right? If we're gonna have mountains, we're gonna have some clouds floating behind those mountains for sure. Mixing up different directions, pulling it, twisting it some ways, some counterclockwise, sometimes we go clockwise. All depends, and you just throw this little bit of far off, just mess back there, right? That's all a cloud is a bunch of mess. Take a little bit more paint, because we didn't have any paint on the brush, it was all kind of mixed in. And now we'll come in adding little highlights to certain areas, right? Keeping some of the dark color off into the back. You don't need all of it to go away. And we highlight this area over here, make it a little bright. That bit under there got a little bit brighter, and we leave some space underneath, right? All depends on what we want it to look like. If you do it the first time and it comes out perfect, cool. Right? You think you can't get it any better than that? Awesome. But I like having lots of depth and the different layers of clouds, and the further they get away, the darker they are, the harder they are to see. Right? So we bring our little bits of bright in. and we start to mix, but I'm not pushing as much as before, right? But otherwise it'll all blend away the same color. I'm gonna be very light, very gentle, very easy with it. Come down, very cool. What if we did this too, guys? Since we got these stars out, let's take a couple stars and we'll flick them and we'll toss them off the canvas. Just right out around our little bit of our eclipse. Just a few. Don't need to see a whole lot. We just got a few of them out there, that's all. Might help if we had a little bit more paint. They might come off. There we go. A little easier. Hey, very cool. All right, don't want to do too many. Don't want to have it go nuts. A couple little flicks, all you need. That's so cool, you guys. Okay, now let's throw in this cool mountain, right? We come into here and just jut our way right up. Oh, who knows? Maybe it came down like this, started to climb, came up. Maybe it creeps up into. It's trying to get close to the tip top of the eclipse. All right, cut that little section off. Back in here. Maybe we come down, leaving that little area of clouds back behind our mountain. And maybe back over here. I'm not trying to cover all the clouds. I'm not trying to cover every single thing. Need to make up a little bit more of our dark mixture because I never make up enough. I don't know why. I can't decide how much is enough. And it just goes to show we're literally making the paintings up. I don't know how much to mix. I don't know how much we're going to use. All right, let's scrape off the majority of this dark because you don't need it too terribly much on there. You just want it to be there so it'll slide around and we can make what our mountain's going to look like. It's a jaggedy, crazy old mountain, right? And come in here with our brush. Depending on our pressure, we decide if the mountain stays right here or if we pull it all the way across the canvas, right? All depends on our pressure, that second P. Does anybody know the third P, though? If you know that third P, I'm going to give you a shout out. So, come and hit me with the comments. We talked about the amount of paint. We talked about the amount of pressure. So what's the third P, guys? I got to come back here, and all these start coming in. Practice, that's right. Ellie Kerr, she's getting a follow from Paint with Josh. Let's see. Pop, 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 pop. Do a cityscape and a portal. That's kind of cool. Practice, practice. Sherry Owens, Hammy. Let's see. We got Cosmic Lighthouse. Who's winning the Stanley Cup? Who knows? Are they playing the Stanley Cup? Happy Mother's Day, by the way, guys. Tomorrow, we're not going to be live. Well, it'll probably be live, actually. So we'll probably come on and do a Mother's Day painting. But if I don't see you, or if you don't see me, happy Mother's Day from Paint with Josh to you. We love all the mothers. Mothers are the best. Dang, right there. Look at that, guys. Just a cool, soft little bit of mountain, right? Very, very neat. I love it. Now, all we have to do is highlight this cool little thing. Throw maybe another little cloud at the bottom of it, and you got a really cool little painting. So we're going to take our white and maybe a bit of our, what color should we go with? Maybe our phthalo green, a little bit of our sap green. We'll mix those guys up. Over here. Don't want to have too much white because it's going to be very bright, right? And these are supposed to be our shadows. Let's take a little bit of our dark purple mix as well, and we'll add that in there. Bang, just like that. Want it to darken it, dull it down just a touch. Scrape through because at the bottom is where all that brightness hides. Bam, right there. Those are going to be our shadows. And now we're going to grab a little bit of our white, maybe a touch of our cad yellow, and maybe a sneak of that green color right there. And we'll just mix these guys up into our gorgeous snow, quote unquote, right? Our methane snow. So let's take our darker greens and we'll come off the backside. You only want to get about half of these guys, and it's such a light amount of pressure that you don't even feel the knife touch the canvas. And as soon as you do feel the knife touch the canvas, you're out of paint. You need to go back. All right, take these guys. Just I figured as I was pulling it down, I'd make these little ridges with my brush, right? All depends on what yours looks like. And then you come in and you decide where your little bit of shadows are going to live, where your highlights are going to be, how far they go down, how light they become, right? By scrubbing it onto the canvas. And you want to have some color down there because we're going to have a bit of fog and mist and different things that happen down there, right? So a little bit of our shadows in there, just every which way, and then you can always go back and cover over them with your highlights. And we got this bit over here. It's coming down. And maybe it goes into a little valley. Who knows? Right? You decide. You decide what it looks like. It's not up to me. But make sure we got a little bit of light on half of each little peak. Maybe our little shadow over there sat like that. It does, like, again, it doesn't really matter. We're going to come back in with our brighter color, scraping up this guy. Not a whole huge amount at the very top because it's very thin up here. And you don't want to cover all the darkness, and you don't want to cover all of your shadows. You're going to start coming down, different little strokes, sliding it down as we go, right? And we're going to come back, a little bit more paint, pull it down, let it break. All that little light pressure, that's what helps it break. So gorgeous, right? Barely touching it, allowing it to blend in with that darker color. It's allowing it to kind of shadow itself. Right? As we come in, we're not trying to make all of the light touch itself either, right? Got to have those little dark areas in between. Not just for a seascape. The dark separator is everywhere. You got to have it in your clouds. You got to have it in your mountain. You got to have it in your water. You got to have it everywhere, right? Little teeny tiny amount of pressure. And then depending on the angle that you pull down, depends on how far they go, right? Your pressure. Need a little bit more of our paint. A little bit more, because I never make enough. Whoop. Knife tried to jump out of my hand right there. All depends on your pressure, right? The amount of paint on the knife, how much pressure you're pulling off the canvas, which way you're going, right? Your angle is almost, it should be, I wish angle started with P, because it would be the fourth P of Paint with Josh would be the angle, right? Because if you pull it in the wrong angle, it's just gonna look funny, just gonna look weird. I like to make mine a little shape, like a little rocky, a little just scraggly. It's never just a perfect shape up there, right? Never. And if you come out into your shadowy area with a little bit of brightness like that, kind of sticks it back, adds that depth. Right? Coming in a little bit over here, and little things. Remember, we can't allow these colors to touch because there is a small amount of shadow back there. So bring them down, and even our dark separator exists even into the mountains, right? Got to have that little cast of a shadow right there. And we come up a little bit, we can help it. Bam. And of course, there'd be a little shadow back inside, right? Of course, you can even go back and add in your little green areas, your darker green shadow, wherever you think you might need a touch of it. Because all we're doing is adding just little blasts of color. Is all our eye is looking for. We start to drag it up this way, and it starts to mesh in with our little bright areas that are coming down on this side. Very cool, guys. Very cool. Now, come back here to our little bit of white, or our snow. It's not white, it's like yellowy green. And we went off that side, right? Last little bit of green to come underneath these guys. Again, you decide what you want your little space mountain thingy to look like. Wicked. Just wicked. Alright, the thicker you put it on there, the brighter it's going to be. You got to pull off in your right angles, right? You don't want to have the wrong angle. Ooh, guys, that's cool. That is neat right there. Now, all we need is a little bit of our color down here to make a bit of mist, right? So don't go too crazy. Don't pull it in different directions. Try to keep that same angle. And then down here we'll have all that little misty color. It's going to be fantastic. So, in order to make that, that's a question I get all the time. Do you guys know how to make the mist, right? How much of our first P is on this brush? Can you guys tell me? I mean, it looks like there's something on there. But how much of our first P is on the brush, right? Zero. Zero amount of our first P, which means based off of our second P, our pressure, just like math, right? If the first one doesn't work, you move on to the next one. Based off our second P, and very lightly start sliding up, and it softens this texture down. Right? I don't know about you, my style is kind of half texture, half brushed out. And that's how I like it. It just makes it look more natural to me. That's how I like to do it. Everyone's different, so if you want yours super textury, leave it like this, add some clouds in at the bottom, and you're good to go. But I like to soften it just a little. It helps your brain. It helps my brain anyway. Okay, and I don't suggest that the beginners do this section up in your mountain. Just stay along the edges, right? Don't go into the center, because it takes a lot of the third P of Paint with Josh to get up here into the center and make it look soft, right? There's some bits that you want to have look real textured, and then there's some bits that you got to have look a little bit blurry. So, a lot of that third P. What's the third P, guys? Does anybody know? The third P, you'll get a follow. Anybody? Third P of Paint with Josh is practice. G Fox. Where'd you go? There you go. G Fox, right there. You're getting a follow from Paint with Josh. Bam. Now, all this stuff down here doesn't matter because we're going to take a little bit of our cloud brush that had all that same color. Right? So we come underneath here, just adding a little bit, nothing too crazy. It's going to grow. Remember, it's going to grow. Just like that. We're going to start to bash it out. Right? Bash it out like this. Come up here, just using the corner of the brush. Just a little bit, trying to use it at an angle so you guys can see. right corner of the brush, and we're starting to bash it. And that way we're not dragging the paint, we're not covering too much. We're just tapping at it and creating all this little mist, right? Each time the brush hits it, it's spreading out the paint. It's like kneading dough, right? It's spreading it out, getting it everywhere. Right? All based off of our amount of pressure that we're pushing. Maybe this guy will make a little bit more of a cloud. There we go. Our amount of pressure that we're pushing, we can reach up, we can drag some of that stuff down and create this little misty mist, right? And then it looks like it just needs, where'd my paint go? It's over here. It's like it just needs a little bit more brightness. Maybe we had something come in from the from out above. It's wrapped around the back side of it, right? And then we'll take with a very small amount of pressure so it doesn't blend away. Blend our little cloud down just like that. So soft, so easy. Get the whole little thing happening, right? You can go crazy. You can go all sorts of nuts. You can be subtle. You can do whatever you want to do. A little bit more bright area, a bit more bright white in here, just to add a bit more mystery to it, right? I like calling it, that's why they named it mist, because it's mysterious, right? What's happening under that mist? If you can see through it, then it's not very mysterious, right? And if it's too dark, or if it's too bright and you can't see through it at all, then it's way too bright. There we go. So soft, a little bit of floating cloud down around the bottom of our spacey green Everest. And with that, it's such a cool painting. So, if this one hasn't sold already, I'm going to take it out of the store and take it to the gallery and take it to the gallery next month and hang it. That's going to be really cool. So, we're doing a show. If you don't know, we're doing a live show just like this from a gallery. So, it won't be inside my studio. It'll be a totally different place. It's going to be awesome. And going to have people down there watching. They're going to raffle off the painting inside the store. It's going to be so neat. It's going to be so neat. So, just a different thing, and then I'll have a few paintings to put up and sell and try to display anyway in my own little area. So, I'm going to take a little of our liquid white, a little of our green, mix those guys together, and then maybe we'll have some like far off, just green space birds for this guy, right? Everybody start coming up with a name. What would you name this painting? Because we're going to need a name here soon. Ooh, those guys are very much the same color as those clouds. It'd be hard to see. It'd be hard to see. Let's get a little bit more white in there. A little bit more white. Here we go, right over them. Like that. Bam. Little Bailey. She gets mad when she's not bright enough. And I always have to go back and add more paint. Come back and do Bailey last. There we go. Man, those are cool. Little space birds hanging out in the deep, dark space of whatever universe we're in. Let's throw the signature down here today. We'll come over like this, and just drop it on, right? Boom. So, guys, this one came out fantastic. Let's back the cameras up a little bit. Woo! I'm telling you, it's very green, too. It doesn't look so green in my thing here, but it is very green. Uh-oh, we got people in the shop. I better end the show soon and go take this one out so you can't buy it. Man, it looks neat. Just looks neat, guys. So, I want to thank you guys for being here, for hanging out with me, for doing all the cool stuff. Mountain Eclipse, Mystic Eclipse. Got all these names, guys, all these names. Let's see, Earth's Eye, Waves in the Moon, the Solar Eclipse. How much for this one? I don't even know. It's like $225 probably with tax and everything. If you go over to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, then you'll be able to purchase it. You find it, search for number 761. That's what number painting this is. Joshua in the Sky with Diamonds, the Twilight Zone, Lunar Splosh. I love that moon vision. I like the Twilight Zone. That's really cool. I like the Twilight Zone for this, guys. Dreamscape, that's another good one. Best of Both Worlds, that's a good title, too. Wow. The Earth's Eye, that is a good name. Tidal Moon. I'm falling in love with your painting. Thank you, Chung Happy. You can go over. My watch just told me to stand up. I've been standing for an hour. Told me to stand up. Inner Beauty. Let's see. It tells you no matches when you try to search 761. Okay, type in TikTok in the search bar of my store. If you go over to Etsy and you type in the word TikTok in my store, it'll pull up the listing. And Dimensions of Portals, I like it. I like it. What album is it under? It should be, if you put, like I said, if you search for the word TikTok, it'll pull up. And unless it's not there. If it's not in the store, that means it's probably already been purchased. If it's not there. If 761 doesn't pull up anything, then that means it's purchased already. So, let's see, let's see. All right, you know what? I think we're going to name it Stargate Eclipse. I like, wow, Stargate Eclipse. Oh, 762. You're right, 762. I'm sorry, 761 we painted last night, didn't we? That was Timo's painting was 761. So search for 762, or it'll say like green eclipse is how I labeled it. So if you search for that number, and that painting will be, or this painting will be attached to that listing, 762. And it'll, like I said, in the description it'll say green eclipse, because that's all I knew I was going to paint was a green eclipse. And then it turned into this crazy thing, right? So this one's going to be great. And remember, guys, all you guys watching on TikTok, we filmed a live broadcast on YouTube, too. So you'll be able to go over and rewatch the show afterwards over on YouTube. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. So let's turn it around. And I think I've chosen a name. I think I've chosen... Ooh, get up there. A little bit taller. Right here. Now, plop it down. Come out here. There we go. Now we're going to try to make sure. Yeah, okay, it's not touching on the front. Excellent. So let's sign this old guy first. Come over here. That marker is not good anymore. Let's see. That one's not good either. All of the markers that I have are just blunt. Okay, this one's good. Here we go. Gorgeous. Right here. Number 762, guys. So let's name it. The one I really liked, I liked a few, but here we go. We're gonna, I think it was, yeah, if you type it in and nothing pops up, then it might already be sold, guys. So it might have already been purchased. And it's just waiting, right? I really like the one Twilight Zone. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but I love that. So if it was you that said Twilight Zone, comment again, and maybe I might recognize your photo. Let's go to paintwithjosh.com, guys, and then that'll take you to every other site that you want to go to find my YouTube, my Facebook, my Insta, my TikTok, my store, my Etsy, all the stuff. Go to paintwithjosh.com, and then you'll be able to find everywhere that you want to go, just like that. So I'm going to end one of these streams. Let's end the YouTube stream, and then I'm going to figure out what if it's purchased or not. Okay. Actually, we're going to end the Facebook stream because I got to use that device. So I love you guys on Facebook, and I can't wait to see you next time. Head over to YouTube or head over to TikTok to continue watching the show. I have to end it and use one of my devices. My computer in here took a crap the other day and doesn't work. So I love you guys, and let's figure out if it's sold or not and whose it is, and we'll get it done. So we'll finish over here on Facebook. Pop the iPad out of the holder. There we go. All right. Now let's go see what we got going on in the store, guys. What do we got going on in the store? Hang on. Here we at. Bing, bang, boom. Right there. Painting 762. Labeled right here. So it is in the store. And I'll show you guys how to find it, right? If you go over to my store, paintwithjosh.etsy.com, I'll show you guys on TikTok, right? paintwithjosh.etsy.com, and then we're going to type in 762 in the search bar, right? 762. We're going to hit search. It pulls it up right there. So the price of this one is $213, luckily for you guys. But I think I'm going to end the show, and I'm going to go pull it out of the store because I really like it, and I think I'm going to keep it and take it to the gallery. So you have just about a few minutes to get it for that price. Otherwise, it's never going to be there. And when it does come back into the store, it's going to be way more expensive. So if you go over and get it at $213 right now, you'll be able to snag this one up, and I'll ship it out to you. Other than that, as soon as I get time to do it, I'm going to take it out of the store. So if you really want it, get over there and get it now. Because I might want to take it to the gallery, and I might want it a little bit more than I want the money for it. You know what I mean? So, let's see. This one turned out fantastic, you guys. I love it. And yeah, with all the confusion, I'm sorry we had to end the Facebook broadcast. I don't have any help. I'm here by myself. Let's see, single dad life. Bailey went over to a friend's birthday party, so I'm running 3 devices all at once with no way to check my store and no one to help. So, either way, I'm sorry for the Facebook fans that had to go, but and the painting isn't even sold yet. But if you go search for 762 or type in the word TikTok, or when I go over and take a few photos of this, and maybe I'll decide if I want to sell it or not, put it out on Facebook, and it might have a link. If it has a link, that means it's available for sale. Click on it, you can buy this one. But until I see you guys again next time, no, I'm just kidding. You thought I was going to leave, right? No, we got to do our end show. I got to do the end of the show, so we'll say goodbye to the YouTube crew, though. All right, YouTube guys, I love you, and take care. Fantastic. I can't wait to see your versions of this. And until I see you guys again next time, boom! All right, now it's the TikTok time.